That was oh that's I don't know what to say. This is going to be a funny podcast because we've got notes and we've got all sorts, and all I want to say is get it right. Fucking up, is. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers Instant Match Reaction. Finally, Kenny and I get to do one that is going to be fun. What a second half! What a performance! What a first half! So much to unpack. Big use of Chermiti morphing into Daniel Kuzan. That had everything, and you know what? In their own Midden as well. That was magic, Kenny. Good afternoon, mate. That was, and by the way, full disclosure, didn't see it coming at all. Felt negative about it. There was a wee bit of half time me saying to Kenny, knew it was going to happen. They shit the bed every single time. And yeah, I didn't see it coming. So well done, Rangers. Honestly, needed that. Absolutely needed that. But that was magic. Absolutely, man. What a feeling that is, man. Unbelievable. Kenny, how are you?
I'm very, very good, mate. And that's the statement win we've been looking for, isn't it? The proverbial game of two halves. We were all miserable at half time, obviously, because we didn't turn up that first half. We certainly turned up second half. And yeah, to a man in that second half, they played very, very well. And mentally, I'm going to say this, I think we totally deserved our win. It was crazy. Because we should have been out of sight in the first half. If truth be told, we just didn't get to grips with the game at all. Certainly sorted that out in the second half, and I am absolutely flying with that. That was tremendous to watch that second half.
There's so much to unpack. Chermiti's finish for the first goal, flick through the legs. I was moaning about him doing his flicks the other week, and then the pace, the power for the second goal. The third one, Casper just can't get down because he's got issues. Just everything about it. We could have scored more. Just honestly, it was just Danny Röhl. Just everything about this. We've got so much to talk about. I can't do it when I'm giddy and excited. And honestly, we've just done them in their own backyard, and it feels so good. Kenny, starting lineup, was it anything that you didn't want in there? Was there any surprises? Was it what you should have went for?
It's exactly what I asked for last night's podcast, mate, and I got it wrong. I think Danny Röhl got it wrong. I think the way we were standing off at times in the first half, we just didn't get to grips with their passing. That pass inside our centre half and left wing back or left back, time and time again, was causing us proper grief, and it was annoying to say the least, because I've got to be honest, I was expecting another goal to go in. However, I'll let everybody into a secret, and I was absolutely bitching about Danny Röhl at half time. And Davey had said to me, is that not the team and the formation you asked for? And I said, yeah, but I talk shite in the podcast, and he's a Rangers manager. There's levels to this. So 100% credit goes to Danny Röhl for mopping that up at half time, and whatever he said to them in that dressing room, they've come out like men possessed in the second half. And Diamandi coming on was a game changer, actually. The way he squeezed the game into the middle of the park, and we had just so much more time and space. It was fantastic. What a result that is, mate. I am buzzing. I really am. That is delightful. What a start to the new year.
You're not going to get this smile off this baldy coop in this podcast, and we're just going to run with it, folks. We're going to be on as long as we're on, and we're going to enjoy this moment. Celtic 1, Rangers 3. Oh, it feels good. One complaint from me about the starting lineup, Tello Asgard being in. No offence, it just wasn't his game. And I think him getting booked so early, it just stopped everything. And Raskin and Barron were lost because they couldn't go and press. And when they did go and press, they were just getting popped around so many times. The line was too high at times as well, which meant that the ball in between the fullbacks and the centre backs was dead on every single time. And let's be absolutely honest, we started off okay when we controlled the ball the first couple of minutes, and I was like, yes, that's what we want to do. And we done okay. But then from moment 8, that ball flashed across the face of our goal. I think it was Kenny that got in behind. By the way, he's fast, but he's absolutely dog shit. So that was quite enjoyable to watch. And then from that moment, I'm just thinking we're not getting to grips with it, Kenny, at all. And we were just lost. And because Asgard became stopped, like he was almost like, how do I explain this? He was just filling like a space, Kenny, but he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't pressing. He wasn't doing anything. And then when we moved out to go and try and counter that, they just popped it round us every single time. And we were basically wide open. The only reason we weren't 3-0 down at halftime was because of Jack Butland. McCowan has one after 10 minutes. He puts wide, and then a free header from Trusty 15 minutes in. We were on the ropes against what is a very bland Celtic team. And we can say that now with confidence because they are shite, and we'll get to that soon. But for us, from our point of view, we were too high up. The midfield was too far off, and they were all filling spaces, and we were easily getting popped around. Does that? I mean, I'm not a tactical guy, so I can only tell you what I've seen. But does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense to me. And as you said, the Asgard booking was a problem for us because I felt he just couldn't play his physical game at all. So he didn't really get into the game. He was on the periphery of it all the time. I thought Barron and Raskin were getting slightly exposed. They were a man down effectively in there. I thought, as I said, that pass that they must have played it a dozen times in that first half, and every single time. Now, fair play, you've got to make the pass, and you know, to be fair to them, they did, and they were hitting their man every single time. But it was just so easy for them to get in behind us, and the Trusty one with a header that. To be fair, he's got to score that. That's a free header, 9 yards out, and he puts it miles past the post.
Do you know what helps here? Do you know what helps here, Kenny? Just to interrupt you, is that he's absolutely shite, you know.
He is.
Yeah, he's
but this is the crazy thing that they're doing, Stevie, right? And we're not here to talk about them at all. But they're playing with three at the back with one centre half and leaving him one-on-one. The perfect example was Chermiti's second goal. Where he just fucking runs away from him. It's just mad. He just runs away from him because he knows that Barron's there and they're so exposed. And as I say, I wanted and expected that. Oh, by the way, there's demonstrations outside Celtic Park as we speak. They're all going mental.
Right. Everybody needs to calm down. Let's not overreact. He's doing a good job. He's only just in the country. He needs time to settle. Let's not do anything rash. It's not. That's unfair. Unfair. I thought they were great. Listen, I thought they were great in the first half. There's surely things to build on there.
There is. Of course there is, mate. And, you know, they were a wee bit unfortunate they came up against a better side today. That's all it is. But keep the board. Keep Wilfred Nancy, whatever his name is. It's long may this continue. That's what I'll say. And listen, going by the way we started, that's coming back to the reality here. The way we started, I thought we started, as you say, first 10 minutes we were all right, and for the next 30 minutes or so, we were all over the shop. Strangely enough, I actually thought in the last 5 minutes of the first half we started to get a grip again, but it took half an hour, and it was the just absolute indecision of not quite knowing where to be. Fernandez was getting caught. Magoma was getting caught. The two holders were getting caught in the midfield. We couldn't get Gassama and Moore into the game at all. I thought Big Chermiti was working his backside off, and fair play him for that. But we just didn't get a hold of the ball and keep it for any length of time in that first half. So it is what it is. We went in one down, but I really just want to talk about the second half, mate. Can't be asked for the first.
We do go one down. Jack Butland makes a wonderful save from Kenny. Straight at him, but good from Jack. And then we don't react. Yang runs through 3 or 4. First of all, he gets away from Asgard. He's already got the run on Sterling and Raskin, and he hits it hard with pace. It's a great finish. No criticism from Jack for me. That's difficult. It's high. It's not at him. It's up to his left. Can he get more on it? I don't know. I think that's really difficult. That's a world-class saves if he makes it. So I just think poor from us. You can't, when somebody's got the run on you, just put them down the line. We just open up. We everybody almost parts ways. Just at least take the foul. So I'm counting on Raskin or Sterling. Just take the foul and regroup and go back in there. Nobody does anything. We back off and we make it so that he gets a clear shot. And it's not the first time, and we'll talk about that just in a second. I don't like saying it. They probably deserved it at that point. And Kenny, we don't get to grips with it. That ball's still killing us. There's still too much space in midfield. They're still popping it about all around us. And then out of nothing, Rangers should be equal. Gasama gets in. It's a good save by Schmeichel, but it's lucky. He just flings an arm up and he catches it, and it actually goes wide. So we're right, okay. But then 2 minutes later, Asgard's playing this nightmare ball across the face of goal, and we're just allowing them. Butland again saves from Kenny. I think that's the one down to the bottom right, and just then there's a header from McCowan. And it's just constant, that ball, even when they're not getting chances. And what's even more bizarre about it is we just stand off all the time. And it was almost like, and I'll reference this at the end a wee bit more. The Dundee United game, Celtic should have been 5-0 up at half-time at Tannadice. And they lost 2-1. It's a carbon copy of that. Rangers should be out of it at half-time, not only for the chances they had. Jack had a lot of good saves that I would expect him to make, but they were getting in far too many times. There was too much space. Why we sat off, we were almost scared, Kenny. And I've seen this before, and that's why I felt like we were going to do this again, because I've seen it so many times. I said at half-time, hello, Tynecastle, because that's what it was like. And it was almost to a moment where, why are we standing off? Sterling was guilty of it. Fernandes taking far too much time on the ball, inviting pressure. Midfield, Barron and Raskin not winning their duels because they couldn't, because they had no help and they were getting played around. Fullbacks were out of it. There was just so much, and the strikers weren't sticking. Nothing was sticking with Chermiti. Nothing was sticking with Gassama and Moore. It all just looked disjointed. And at 44 minutes, we're sitting here going, it really should be 3-0. And it wasn't, thankfully. But there was a lot to be concerned for Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely. The first half was nowhere near good enough. And when you actually analyse that first half, I think there's just a huge amount of hesitancy from us on and off the ball. We don't really quite know what we're going to do with it. We don't really quite know what we're going to do when they're coming forward. As I said, I just felt that and put it this way, I'll rephrase that and say this, that the Asgard chip across our 18-yard box kind of epitomised everything that was wrong with us.
We were so casual.
It's just like, what are you doing? You do genuinely get taught that at primary school. Don't play a ball across your box. Don't do it. And definitely don't chip it like that, because all you're doing is just inviting them on. And it's just crazy. But I do feel that, and I don't want to sit there and pick on an individual as such, but I actually think, having called for Asgard to play and kind of man-mark Callum McGregor last night on the podcast, I was very, very wrong, and it should have been Diamandi that did that. And I think that the personnel actually was probably part of the problem. I just feel that, as you said, the booking for Asgard really did phase him, and he became one of those empty jerseys almost, and almost getting, when he did get the ball, was getting in the way, was causing us problems. And that's no disrespect to the kid; he's just had a poor game. But I just felt that there was a situation for us that if we had lost that goal, that second goal, we could have capitulated there because of the genuine lack of confidence we seem to have in the first half, where we just obviously turned up with a game plan. It wasn't working, and it just looked to me as if they were all looking at each other, giving it, what do we do? And there is a genuine lack of leadership on that football pitch, which we've discussed for months now. But there genuinely is, when things are not going particularly well for us. I think that's the issue, is that there's nobody to turn around and start grabbing boys by the scruff of the neck and say, look, just keep it tight for 10 minutes. We weren't even capable of doing that. And that is exactly what you need to do in a game like that, is when you're not on it, when you're not playing well, and the other team is, you have to just defend properly. And even then, I didn't think we were particularly doing that all that well in the first half. But as I say, I thought after about 35 to 40 minute mark, I thought you could see us starting to come to grips with it a little bit, and I felt a little bit more at ease watching the game. Put it that way.
They did. They actually didn't for the last 8-9 minutes of the half. They didn't create anything at all. Rangers did slightly, as you say, begin to get more comfortable without doing anything. What I didn't like about them, and we did it a lot in the second half, we didn't disrupt them at all. Even if you're not playing well and you can't take the cheap fouls, disrupt them, stop their flow. We didn't do any of that. And then something happened right on half time that I think had a big reflection on it. Chermiti is about a year and a half offside. And obviously he does fine, but we do get in, and Moore cuts it back to Moore, and Moore scored. And 1-0 at half time, I think that's a great moment, because we should be saying at half time, you can hurt them. It's 1-0. Yeah, we've not done well. Jack's had 3, 4, 5 really good saves, whatever you want to make it. Routine saves, I think he should be making, but he's made them really well. We're well in this. And then he makes a key change. Diamandi coming on, absolutely key. And they don't mark Callum McGregor. They don't, because they decide that he is absolutely, he's ineffectual where he is. Callum McGregor never influenced that game. All he did was keep the ball going. The two that were affecting the game was Engels and McCowan. They were the ones in the middle that were picking up space. So they just went man on him, and they let Deal go and hunt. And then when Deal was picking up, they let Raskin go and hunt. And what a difference it made. Because it then made, because of the security, Raskin can go forward. And they never really have anything. And it's just, we start well, Kenny. There's a moment, 47, 48 minutes, Chermiti's away, and Moore doesn't get the pass in, and you're just thinking, a couple of things you're thinking, they're there to be got at, and two, are we going to regret that moment? Because it's there. But I just think that Rangers at this moment, they start to believe in themselves a wee bit. They start winning second balls. Their line's good, the press is better, and they can actually, you can see them say to themselves, we can get at them here, and it's only 1-0.
Yeah, exactly. The first 5 minutes of the second half were kind of nuts, because it was end-to-end stuff. I remember us having I'm sure it was a corner, and Connor Barron has a horrendous corner, and 5 seconds later it's out for a corner to them. But you made a cracking point about what was wrong with us in the first half and what we managed to do in the second half. Where the goal epitomizes what went wrong, where everybody's not taking a foul. Actually, we started doing that in the second half. You're not going anywhere. You're just not going anywhere. We'll take the foul, and it's we're a wee bit naive with stuff like this, mate. And we really do need to get with it, get a bit of experience in that, know exactly when to do that. But the Moore one with the pass to Chermiti, he's very, very unlucky, because the defender's wrong-footed, but he just gets a toe to it and stops it. And I totally agree with you. I thought instantly in the start of the second half, you could see there was just a difference. There was just a different feel about it right away, and it was very end-to-end that first 4 minutes before we scored.
The key, the difference already Diamandi makes is clear on the team. It allows Raskin. Raskin picks up the ball at the edge of the box. Nico's brilliant at this, and here we go again. Yeah, he's my mate, everything else, blah, blah, blah. But Nico is brilliant at this, because he finds spaces. He's difficult because he's small, he's slight, low centre of gravity. He can navigate. He gets to the byline, cuts it back. Big use of fucking dollying about in the middle, try to flick it in the goal. Flicks it in the goal absolutely perfectly, back heeling it and everything else. And it's in the top corner, and you're just thinking, it was almost bound to happen. I think a bit like when Kenny Miller scored at Parkhead back in 2008 with that volley. I think this was almost always going to happen. Wonderful, wonderful run by Raskin. But it comes because we start picking up second balls, we start pressing, we start hunting them, and they were never comfortable. When we then do it, we look like we can hurt them. We do hurt them, and it's one each, Kenny, out of absolutely nothing. And you're thinking of a game, I almost couldn't believe it, of a game where we should be out and absolutely should be out of it. It's 1-1, big, and the big man's come up trumps, and unbelievable. What a goal it was, what a finish. Like, it's not an easy one. It's slightly behind him. He does flick it in, Brilliant goal in the top corner. We're back in it.
Quite incredible when you get your number 9 into the 6-yard box, isn't it? It's something that I've not seen enough of, mate. But the whole move's actually, you can pick holes in what they've done, right? But for us, Gassama makes a lovely wee play, gives it to Nico Raskin down in the touchline, or he gets to the byline, and he cuts it in. And as you say, it is slightly behind Chermiti, and fair play to the big fella, because he's just tucked that away. But the kind of crazy thing for me was that you're sitting there almost down at halftime, almost deflated. You're giving it, oh my God, this has been dreadful. And almost immediately as the second half starts, you think, this is just different. It just seems like a totally different game. And the one thing that I've got to say about this is, I mentioned last night that other teams had proven how to get joy out of that Celtic side. And almost immediately in the start of the second half, we got that press nailed on, and we really did start to impose ourselves and impose our game on it. Because the one thing you can say without a shadow of a doubt is they are absolute dog meat at the back, mate. So if you can get at them, there's goals plenty for everybody.
Yeah, it was quite a joy to watch just how bad they became and how quickly their confidence drained. Rangers then start hunting. Butland has a good save from Maeda. He comes out and spreads himself. We switch off. And it's that simple pass in between the centre-back and the full-back. Sterling and Suter are both not paying attention. Maeda gets in, brilliant by Butland again. And then Rangers go up the other end. Barron finds himself at the edge of the box. He's not natural, so it kind of gets deflected out. And then it goes back up the other end. Celtic free kick. Yang has a header, which was kind of at Butland above him, but it's still a really good save. And that was the last time we seen Celtic as a threat. And yeah, they had the last 5 minutes because we managed the game. But there was nothing at that moment. That was the last time Butland had anything really to do. He had that one maybe save from the one that came across, which Suter blocked. But Rangers just get the initiative. They're pushed up. They're better shape. The line's good. The press is good. Chermiti's doing everything that he should be, and then Celtic get a throw. And they decide to throw it straight at the big guy, or the big guy wins it. He hunts it down, which he done at Tynecastle really well. And then he just accelerates. And at a moment, it's kind of my brain, I don't know if anybody else does this, but my brain kind of works on stages, and you're thinking, right, run. Can you get past him? Oh, he's past him. Oh, he's one-on-one. He never scored this. Oh, he's shot. As he saved that, that looks like it's in. Fuck me, that is in. And then it's just pandemonium in the living room. And it's just, that's the stages of conversation I had with my head as he ran through. He just opens up, Kenny. I never knew he was quick. He just opens up. His stride is brilliant. His balance is brilliant. He gets the shot away perfectly because he knows it's Schmeichel. And Schmeichel's a big target. Let's be a very big target. So he's got to get it past him. Low, hard, everything about it. Brilliant moment. Brilliant for him. And you're suddenly thinking, fucking hell, Kevin Thelwell was right. And it's 2-1 to Rangers, and the big guy out of nowhere has got 2.
Aye, we'll give Kevin Thelwell a little bit of praise for that today, Annie. No, we won't. But what we can do is actually, as you say, analyse the goal, and crazy defending from them. And as I say, the trusty thing is just bonkers. Watching it back, I actually watched it back immediately on the replay, obviously, and actually started laughing. Like, what's he doing? What is he actually doing? You don't have any choice but to go to the ball there as a centre half. However, I'll give Chermiti all the credit in the world for this, because he actually realises in the instant he gets the ball that he can just drive forward, and he knows full well that if Trusty comes to him, he just lays it off to Conor Barron, and Conor Barron should score. So it is one of those kind of scenarios where you know, for a game where you had, as I say, been sitting there in the first half looking at it, and all of a sudden you're 2-1 up, and you can tell that they have their asses have collapsed actually without being too disrespectful to them. But you could see they had. Their asses had absolutely caved in. And we just grew in confidence and went from strength to strength, I thought. And it shows you how fragile that lot are. It really does. That goal kind of epitomises it, where it is so simple and so easy. And he just turned around and he takes it with aplomb, to be fair to him, because it is a big target, as you say. And he just tucks it. I know the keeper gets a touch, but he just tucks it away. And I'm absolutely delighted for the big guy, because he's taken some amount of stick. And there's nothing that'll endear you more than going over there and scoring a couple against that mob. So delighted for Yusuf Chermiti. It's absolutely tremendous for him.
It was prime Daniel Kuzan. Absolutely prime Daniel Kuzan, the way it was. Didn't know he had it in him. Didn't know he had it in him at all. So full credit. It really was wonderful moment. And then you're thinking we're 2-1, and then Rangers almost again. Maeda has a flash shot with his left foot, which just goes inches wide. I'd love to say Butland had it covered. It was probably kind of like a half volley type, and then that was it. Rangers started doing what I want them to do. They started disrupting. They started winning throw-ins. They started playing it off them. They started antagonising them. They started pressing them. Diamande, Raskin, Barron, I thought were terrific. And then we just managed the next 10 minutes after going 2-1 up, because you don't want to... Yeah, listen, every time we scored, they had a chance straight away from Maeda, which we need to work on. But I think when they do press you when you're at home, it's going to happen. You rely on Butland and stuff, which we did. But after that scare, we regrouped, we got back, and we started doing all these things. And we never really looked... You don't feel it at the time, but that's probably the most comfortable I've ever felt at Parkhead. When it went 3-1, I was like, game's over, we've won this. And we were absolutely fine. We do score the third, Mikey Moore. I can't remember. You're going to have to talk me through this, because I can't remember how it came about. Somebody laid him in, takes a touch, and then rifles it with his right foot. Schmeichel should save it. He doesn't. And, you know, Schmeichel is not a good goalie. Said it for a very long time. So I enjoyed that very much. I lost my shit. I was dancing about my living room. So I don't think... I've not seen a replay of any of the goals, I don't think, which gives you an indication of where my head's at. So I don't know who laid it on. I don't know how the goal came about, Kenny. I can't even think. So, but it was an excellent finish by Mikey Moore.
I could be wrong, but I think it was Jiri Gisama that played the ball to him. But I could be wrong. That's just from memory. I haven't seen the goals back, apart from during the live game, as it were. But yeah, it's a fine finish. He's got to get it on target. You're right. I think Kasper Schmeichel's had a big fried breakfast this morning. He was a wee bit slowed down to it, and it's not our fault.
Probably at half time, knowing him.
Not our fault, mate. Their keeper's not very good. We can.
So, Kenny, let me just show you this. We've got Raskin with the assist, Gisama with the assist, and we think it was Dio. So that shows you, like, somebody played the pass.
Somebody played the pass. I thought it was Gisama, but I could be wrong. I genuinely could be wrong. I genuinely can't remember, and I don't care, actually, at this minute in time. I'll watch it back later on tonight and enjoy it. But at that point, Stevie, it was just one of those scenarios where you kind of go, right, as you say, our game management in that second half was absolutely tremendous, right, all the way through, tremendous, because we got the lead and we just not so much sat on it, but stayed on it, and they had nothing about them. And when the third goal came in, I mean, listen, we've had 3 shots on target all day, and we've got 3 goals. Don't get me wrong, we weren't anything if we weren't just absolutely clinical, but for me, it's one of these things that, again, absolutely buzzing for Mikey Moore, because he had a torrid first half. I thought he was really poor, but he came right on to his game in the second half. And even, you know, and I know I'm jumping to get the gun a little bit, but talking about the game management, the last 5 minutes, the way we were down in the corner flag and stuff like that, there was 4 or 5 of us down there. It was absolutely brilliant. You're not getting the ball, and if you do get the ball, you're having a throw in down here or a free kick down here. We're keeping you there. But On the third goal, for me, more than anything else, mate, it was the old Mark Hateley saying, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle. And he's hit it. And he's hit it reasonably well. Keeper should save it. Good that he didn't. Delighted that he didn't. And absolutely delighted for Mikey Moore, as I say, because you could see what it meant to him, and it was absolutely brilliant.
Unbelievable support from people watching. I think there's 5,500 people, no doubt, basking in what is absolutely tremendous. Yeah, we're going to enjoy this. We're not going anywhere soon. Don't worry. Huge thank you to Bluebells, gifted 24 lads had a dream podcast memberships. Thank you, mate. And also earlier in the show, Jimmy James also gifted 10. That's a huge help to us. It helps us grow. Thank you so much. So yeah, it's 3-1 to Rangers. A good block on the line by Suter. When it comes across, Butland gets a touch. Suter then clears it. I thought Suter was really good today. And then we're still pressing. I think Raskin almost plays Gassama in. Butland with a wonderful Hollywood save from a Tierney header, which was lovely. Chermiti goes off, Majowski on, Butland with a routine save again. Couple of things to note. There was a couple of moments. Yusuf Chermiti starts winning fouls. He starts winning stuff on the goal line. There was a really good moment, and I think it was round about 70, 80 minutes where Ralston tries to have a kick at him, and he just pushes him off. But he pushes him off. He literally throws him away, and he lands and hurts his hip, which I enjoyed very much. I won't tell you the gesture I was doing in my house at the time. It was something like that. But that just the kind of spirit of that really kind of was good for me. Start getting into them. They aren't a good side. They aren't what they think they are. It just gets into them. Start disrupting them. Start getting. If you stand off any team the way we did in the first half, they will hurt you. And I think that's quite clear. I'd like to think that they got told at half time to get fucking into them. And those words exactly, because they did. I thought Sterling was excellent. I thought Diamandi was brilliant. I thought Raskin and Barron were excellent. I thought the defence, Fernandez stopped taking so long. We just started playing the way we should. And the front three, I don't think Gassama was outstanding. I don't think that Moore was outstanding. I don't really think that they two had their greatest games, but they started working and they started pressing, and it all kind of came together. Kenny, wonderful second half. If we are like, even the crowd when they started singing "Sack the Board," and then you heard the Rangers fans singing "Keep the Board," I just sat during that second half with a huge smile on my face, and I never seen it coming. I didn't. I felt very negative before the game. I thought they don't have it in them to do this because they haven't shown us. And as much as I love Danny Röhl, and I really do, I think this guy is the one. I think he's great. I think he got it wrong, or whatever we were trying to do in the first half wasn't working, but he fixed it. And honestly, that second half, it was an absolute joy to behold. We will never have an easier second half, feeling wise, because when we were 3-1 up, and you can actually see they were resigned to it. McGregor didn't drive them on. He played, if you look at even his cross in the last couple of minutes when Butland came out and catches, they just were completely off it. They are a poor side. They know they're a poor side. And once you get into that position, it's quite dangerous. Rangers I think we were 9 points behind them when Danny Röhl came in. We're now even. We're 6 behind Hearts, assuming Hearts take on Livingston today, that they'll pick up a result. We'll just need to wait and see with that. But there was a lot of performances of men in that second half. I thought Sterling in particular, really, because he was so bad in the first half. I thought he was excellent in the second. So let's concentrate on ourselves. The Diamandi sub definitely made the difference because we overloaded and we won that battle. But the big man up front won the game for us. Is that simple? We were waiting on it, Kenny. Butland was excellent. So many good things to talk about from that second half.
Yeah, to a man, I thought they were excellent in the second half. The thing that I would say about the difference between the first and the second half there was the shape. The shape was just slightly tweaked. And as I say, we put the extra man Medeo in and squeezed it in there where Asgard was kind of slightly out. They're just not in the game, put it that way. Where I thought Dio just got right on top of the press. And as I say, the difference I felt was there was a confidence issue. I thought in the first half, I really did. I thought they just weren't sure what they were meant to be doing, because whatever their game plan had been, they had turned up in the first half, and within 10 minutes, they could. I think you could tell there was. We had issues trying to keep the ball, and I think that is the most important thing in a game like this, is getting your foot in the ball and playing. And when we started doing that in the second half, I just felt that there was one of those kind of weird things that, as you said it there a wee minute ago, that see when it went to 3-1, I don't think I've ever been even just a couple of goals up. I don't think I've ever felt that comfortable watching a game over there, where I genuinely felt if anybody's going to score another one, it's us. I just thought they had nothing about them in the second half at all. And you've already said that as well, but I seen the Dundee United game up there that they get beat, and it was an absolute replica of it, where they should have been out of sight in the first half. And again, it's been one of these things that if you talk to Celtic supporters, they'll tell you this, that they don't take enough chances, and they are absolutely rotten at the back. So if you're still in a game, even with 10, 15 minutes to go, you've always got a chance of getting something out of them. But for us, I just felt that there was just a much better structure in the second half. I just felt that structurally we were much more compact, much more solid. As you say, guys that had poor games like Dujon Sterling, or I thought Conor Barron wasn't having a particularly good game in the first half, just came right onto a game in the second half just because of the shape that we were in. And as I say, if anybody was to turn around and say anything, in terms of going in at half time and looking and thinking, right, how do you go about changing that? You've got to give our head coach, Danny Röhl, the ultimate credit for this, because he's just walked in. And as you say, I hope a few of them get a bollocking, because at 35 minutes or something like that, 36, 37 minutes, it panned to him and one of his coaches, not quite sure which one it was, but they were in deep conversation, quite agitated, and Danny Röhl's writing stuff down, and you could tell, even by the look in his face, he was pissed off. He was annoyed at what was happening in front of him. So, as I say, I think that's where, head coaches and managers earn their corn, mate, is when it's not going right, and you walk in at half-time, you change your team, you make personnel changes, you change your shape. He's done everything he can, and we've walked out in that second half and went over there and bossed them, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, it certainly is. A lot of people came of age today in that Rangers top. None more than Yusuf Chermiti. Jack Butland was, I think, very solid. Dealt with what he should have dealt, but did it in a really good, calming way. Thought John Souttar at the back kept it together. Here's the thing. There is a lot of rawness, right, in that team. I think you saw it in the first half. What it needs is an experienced player in there during those moments, just to take those moments away from the younger guys, your likes, your Mike Holmer, your Gasamas, your Moores, who are slightly struggling when it gets in that position. So could we then, bring in one or two that's going to help that group? I've got to be honest, Kenny, joint second. If I'm Andrew Kavanagh and Parag Marathi, I'm sitting going, right, 6 points behind, on the assumption Hearts pick up a win today. We're 6 points behind. In the coming weeks, Hearts have got to play us, they've got to play Celtic, they've got to play Hibs. They go through a difficult run. We've got a really difficult 2 games coming up. Aberdeen doubleheader. We should be trying now through everything. Danny Röhl is quite right to now say, well, hold on. I came in a position where I think we were second bottom of the league. And, I'm not sure if the Livingston win took us up, whatever we were, 8th or whatever it was. He can turn around and say, legitimately, I've done absolutely everything I've had to do here. I'm getting better performances out of individuals. I'm getting the team playing as a unit. I'm getting results. Now you have to back me. You have to give me 2, 3, 4 experienced players, or 2, 3, 4 players that I want to put in this squad, and then let me go and try and win this league. Because whether we like it or not, and I don't really like saying it, because it almost feels unrealistic, Rangers are in a title race. We are in it. Hearts have just scored, so they lead by 1-0, which we knew was going to happen. So we're 6 points behind. But we are equal with them. We've clawed them back. They'll probably sack Nonsi, which I think is a tremendous shame. He should be given more time. I think he's doing a good job. You could see that in the first half. Don't be doing anything too rash with that. So hopefully they don't. We need to go and back this guy. We need to go and say to ourselves, we're still in this. We're more than still in this. Let's go and try and win this league. So let's give Danny the players that he deserves.
Yeah, 100% with you on this. The job that he's done, and we discussed this last night, Stevie, that people were giving him a lot of stick. Hasn't won a big game, hasn't got us playing particularly well. We're too defensive, we're this, we're that, we're the next thing. Now, he's not got everything right today, but I'll tell you what, by goodness, he got it spot on in that second half. He's turned around and looked at the game, and that's that. As I say, that's the making of a manager or a head coach for me, is when you are watching your boys, your team, go out there and not perform. To turn around and change that in that 15 minutes at halftime is brilliant. It is absolutely top level stuff, because it is one of these kind of situations where we've seen better Rangers sides than this go over there and wilt, mate. We have. I mean, a lot of good Rangers sides go over there and wilt under the pressure that you get over there. So on the transfer situation, listen, I'm going to be really quite bold about this. Give him whatever the fuck he wants. Actually, if he wants, genuinely, if he wants 3, 4, 5 million pound players, and he believes that if we get that, we will win this league, back him to the hilt, because there's a Champions League pot of gold at the end of it. And I know what you're saying, that you don't like saying that you're in a title race, but listen, you've got to analyse this and say a couple of things. First of all, Celtic are in a title race. We've been hearing this all season. They're in a title race. We are exactly level with them at this minute in time, with all the momentum. Hearts are a decent side. They're a very tidy side, but they're there to be hunted, as Danny Röhl would turn on and say it. And we'll see how their bottle, is as and when, and the longer this goes, because it gets harder and harder and harder to win games when there is something at the end of it. And that's kind of where I'm at now. That I'm looking at that and saying, presuming that Hearts win today, which I expect it will, 6 points behind them, but we've picked up 7 points more since Danny Röhl's come in on them. We've now picked up 8 points more than Celtic in that time. So the momentum is with us. And if anything, performance-wise, maybe not, but results-wise, we are the form team in this league at this moment in time. And, Hearts have got a really tough run of fixtures coming up in the next few weeks, but I'm sure they've got Aberdeen and Motherwell as well coming up. And these are not easy fixtures for them. So we'll see how it goes. But for me, I want to see if the rumours are true that he's looking for a number 6 and a number 10 and perhaps another striker, then give him that. Get the left back that we need as cover. And we are reasonably well placed if we do that. I think dominating the midfield is exactly what we need to do, or need to strengthen, so that when we are under the cosh like we were in this first half, then you've got a number 6 that's properly going to lead your midfield. I think that's just slightly what we're missing at times. And yeah, I'm dead serious, Stevie. If you're Andrew Kavanagh, give him what he wants, because he's doing a turn for you.
I agree. Some shocking comments coming in saying there's loads of fighting and loads of protests and everything outside of Parkhead at this moment in time. I just wanted to say that's exactly what we want to see.
Keep it shame that, innit?
Get it right so far up, every single one of them. Rangers were terrific today. They deserved everything they got in the second half. They had the heart, they had the desire, they had everything we want from a Rangers team, and I absolutely loved it. It's almost a shame, Kenny. I don't really want to end the podcast here. We've talked about the game. Do you want to just talk about the goals again? Do you want to just, because it was brilliant, big Chermiti, that flick, the first one, Raskin gets in there, then the second. Let's talk about Yusuf for a minute then, because I don't want to leave the podcast now because it's magic. How often do you roll them over in their own backyard? If anyone's got any questions or that, fire them and we'll just hang about. Because honestly, this is a brilliant feeling. So, and this is me happy, by the way, lads. This is me. I don't get overly excited. But we beat them 3-1 in their own backyard. Yusuf, I thought, had his best game the other night without looking, without hurting. I said it the other night that I felt like he was doing his best stuff too far away from the goal and he wasn't getting in where he should be. The runs didn't come. Well, the first one, he's ran straight across the face of goal to hit the near post, which Nico then picks him out. And then we have the second, which is all pace, it's all power, nice wee pass. Him, Barron done really well. I suppose shades of the old Eric Bo Anderson, Alberts back in the day where they move off each other, but the Daniel Kuzan opening up. And he's just like, honestly, I've said it, and I've said for a very long time that on current form, Asgard, Chermiti and stuff like that, they wouldn't be a loss. But every single one of us said that can change in a split second. It can change so quickly life at Rangers. That big guy, just forget his past 6 months because nobody will care about that now. Everybody will believe that we've got a number 9 that 1 we can trust, 2 we can believe in, 3 is going to get better. In a blink of an eye or a 45 minutes, Yusuf Chermiti has turned his whole Rangers career around like that. And we're now looking at him going, okay, now this guy might be decent enough. You know, because that's how to change a Rangers career, Kenny.
Absolutely. Danny Röhl mentioned it in the press conference in the build-up to this game where he turned around and he said that he'd been working on him and the kind of final step in working on him was to make sure that his movements and his runs were correct in the box. Well, he got that spot on with the first goal because the timing of the run's perfect and, you know, get in front of their defender to do that. I just feel that it's one of these things, Stevie, that he's taken some amount of stick, right? And a lot of it is deservedly so at times, where he's just been... I know, but he's looked as if he's never seen a football sometimes. Let's not kid ourselves on. But at the same time, it is one of these things that you do look at him over the last month, I would think, and you can see the physical presence is more, that he's using his physical prowess much more. He's holding the ball up far better than he's managed to do. And now, if he's going to add goals to it, then you know Kevin Thelwell might not have been that far wrong when he said that, you know, in a year or two you couldn't afford a player like this because of the physical attributes that he has, and the fact that we've discussed this, right? But the stats on this kid are through the roof when you look at all the data and the potential that he has. But listen, the boy's got to sit and roll in this tonight. You just go and milk this for every single second because you are literally a hero tonight to us. You've managed to turn around, go over there into their Midden and score twice, and it's just tremendous. And that's what I would say when if we're going to sit here and carry on this pod, mate, then you could actually look at the progression of this squad, under Danny Röhl, and actually say that, you know what, he is actually making players better as well as getting results at this minute in time. And as I say, for me, you've got to look at this now and say the momentum's all with us, Stevie. And if he feels that perhaps Danilo isn't going to feature, and you can put Danilo out on loan or whatever, let him bring another striker in, let him rotate, because you can't expect any of these guys to play twice a week, every single week. Massive call today and not starting James Tavernier. And that's what he's done. He's making big decisions. That was one today where he starts with Chermiti, where a lot of folk would have turned and said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to see Chermiti play over there. Not got a goal, enough goal contributions or whatever. He's been proven spot on today.
Yeah, and he has. And folks, I've been in a room where I've listened to Kevin Thelwell and Andrew Kavanagh say that £8 million for Yusuf Chermiti is not a lot of money. They don't consider it to be a big outlay. They do consider it to be something that will pay off, doubling and doubling down. And I've just sat and thought, like, what are they seeing and things like that, and question it and try to say, well, £8 million is a lot for us. And they come back and say, but it's not for them. And I've said it before on this podcast. I think I have spoke about it before when Andrew Kavanagh was talking about that particular deal. And he was like, that's not a lot of money for us. But, well, for Rangers it is, but it's not for him. He just sees that as a drop in the ocean, which is why I think we'll go and do that again. I mean, it's going to be one where, you know, Yusuf Chermiti, whatever he does for the rest of his Rangers career, is going to be remembered for those moments today. You know, players have made their Rangers careers out of goals against Celtic. That's just the truth. Just look at Bear Conterman if you want proof of that. He has to now go on. He has to take that on. I'd like to highlight somebody else. Dujon Sterling, I think, has been incredible since he came back in. He looks a class above. He looks like a football player that we knew he would. He looks very comfortable. He looks like he's cultured. Nothing ever seems to faze him. He was off it in the first half, but him being on it in the second was a huge reason why we turned it around. They put Yang up against him, and I don't think he kicked the ball. And I just thought that Dujon Sterling has made a massive difference to us already. As much as we criticised him, John Souttar coming back in 2 games has made a massive difference as well. So credit to Soapy because he's come back. He looks thinner, he looks leaner, and they're both, them at the back, have made a huge difference. But Dujon Sterling, the last 4 games or so that he's been in, I think you can tell that there's class there. He should be the right back that we need. You want to keep James Tavernier, talking about another contract, fine. Keep James Tavernier to play 10 minutes here and there. No disrespect to Tav. Tav does deserve, and I don't want to go down the Tav rabbit hole, he deserves some sort of send-off. I'd love to send Tav out the door with a couple of trophies in the summer, right? That's just the way I think it is. But Dujon Sterling should be Rangers right back going forward for the next 2-3 years. And we should be looking to sell him for a lot of money when the time comes. But he has been quite simply magnificent since he's came back in.
I've always liked the big guy. He's a cracking player. He's very versatile, as we know. He's played so many different positions for us since he's turned up at the club. And I'm with you on this. I actually do feel that he probably his best and most natural position is right back. But he can do a job for you and as a holder. He can do a job for you as centre half. He can play left back. He's even played right wing for us. You're right. I didn't think he was particularly good first half, but then I didn't think any of us were. I just thought it was as I say, a lack of confidence in what we were trying to do in the first half more than individuals. But the second half, I mean, what you actually said that there, I'd actually kind of forgotten about that. But the boy Yang was terrorising our left-hand side, and he put him over the right, and he never got a kick. So well done, Wilfred Nonce, for doing that, because that helps when their manager's making stupid decisions as well. But I'd like to point out, I actually thought Big Manny Fernandez was excellent today. I actually thought he was really good in the second half again. I thought he played really quite well, and the potential was there for him.
Right, I agree. Okay, I agree. And other people come into that. This isn't a criticism. Manny Fernandez needs to be quicker on the ball. Sometimes it almost looks like he's dallying. In the first half, he did it a lot. See, when Manny Fernandez actually defends, I'm quite comfortable. I think he covers the runs pretty well. I think he gets back and he blocks. I think he puts his body on the line. He's actually got a natural talent to defend. Stop taking so long on the ball, pal, because you were inviting it into wrong places. I'm sure they had a word with him at half time and says you have to be quicker. See, when he gets that bit out, almost like, as the boy says there, almost try to be too clever. I agree with that completely. It's almost like he's still playing with Russell Martin's kind of theory of let them get as close to you as you can and then play the pass. We don't need that. We don't need that. We need it to be quicker. We need it to be moving. If Manny Fernandez can concentrate on the defensive and just get rid of the ball quicker, Kenny, we might have a player in there. I do agree with that. There's a long way to go with him. He's still a bit raw. He needs to be faster on the ball. That first half, I think he invited it a wee bit too much.
He's our player, mate, and we need to build him. We need to progress this kid because the potential is there. what you're talking about holding on to the ball too long or just thinking you've got slightly more time. I'm going to say this. I thought that Mikey Moore and Jerry Kasama were the same today in the first half, wanting or expecting time on the ball. And I think to a certain degree, first of all, it's an old firm game. These are different. They are quicker than most kids are expecting. However, what you've got to do is actually analyse that and say that Manny Fernandez was playing League One football last year. Mikey Moore's been playing at under 23 mostly, and Jerry Kasama's a championship player in England that's come up here, and it does take time to adjust. And in reality, it's only the second and third game, against Celtic that these guys have played because. They're still new, they're still young. These are young boys that we're talking about, and that's the thing that I'm quite excited about tonight is that you said it, and I actually think you nailed it when you turned and said there was a lot of young boys became men today, and now what they've got to do is build on that and keep progressing because the potential is there in a number of these kids. And as I say, I just wanted to mention Fernandez because I thought he was absolutely outstanding alongside Suter in the second half. They never really got a sniff, mate. They really didn't. Couple of set pieces and that was it.
Yeah, and it's a totally decent point. I think as well for Mohamed Diamandi, Kenny, just as we kind of wrap all this up, he needs to play like that in that second half. He needs to have that desire. He needs to have that urgency. He needs to play with that I don't know, like that ability to go and hunt the game and drive it. He can boss games, but he tends to be on the periphery of far too many. I think a game like that suits him where he has to be everywhere. He has to cover every blade of grass. I think he's a very useful player. I've stuck up for him a lot because I think he can be a very good player for Rangers. He hasn't been lately. He needs to replicate that second half performance because his performance was absolutely key, that's for sure.
Absolutely fantastic second half. And again, I'm going to give Danny Röhl all the credit in the world because I said on the show last night that I didn't want to see Diamandi start. I just think his form has been pretty poor of late. A couple of things about it. He'll have been absolutely livid not to start because I think he would have been expecting to start and he's not been picked. But another thing that needs highlighted about Mo Diamandi in that particular, he cannot stand them, Stevie. It is so obvious he doesn't like them, and I think it's actually an individual thing. I don't think it's a club, that he does. I think there's players on that pitch that he really doesn't like, so he gets the bit between his teeth, so to speak. But he needs to grasp that and mould that so that he can do it for 90 minutes every single week because. When he plays like that, he is such an asset, Stevie. He is such a bonus to have. He's an asset that when you see him driving like that and just tearing into tackles and nipping at people's ankles and getting the ball and moving it forward every single time he got the ball today, he moved it forward, which is exactly what you want to see from a guy playing in that position. I've defended Mo Diamandi loads and loads and loads. But he's not had a good season. So let's hope that this is a turnaround for him, that he can take the confidence and the belief that I hope that every single one of our players, we have to progress from this. We have to take this monumental win today and go and build on it. Don't make an arse of this. Don't balls this up over the next 2 or 3 games by dropping points again. Keep winning. Because all we're going to do is put pressure on everybody. Now, the pressure across the city is monumental, as we can see. It is monumental. And listen, I've said it before about them. They never have coped with pressure all that well. They just don't, Stevie. So if that's my aim, that's my target for this football club over the next few weeks, win every single game. We've got a double header against Aberdeen. Take the confidence from this and go and beat them home and away.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to, as you said, Kenny. We cannot afford to get back into it and let it slip away. We've done the really big thing today was going winning at Celtic. We've done that. Fantastic. Now we have to go and beat Aberdeen. Final word, I think, to me on this podcast goes to Danny Röhl. I thought in the semi-final, he didn't set up properly, and we reacted and managed to get us back on level terms with 10 men. I thought there was enough there for me to be confident in him. I am biased. I really like him. But I think at this time, he's exactly what we needed. A pragmatic manager who gets it, who understands that first and foremost, you have to win. I also think he's got a side to him where he is able to get a reaction from the players. You've seen it today, which is key. So we were favourites today. I didn't feel like we were going to win that game today. I don't mind saying to anyone. In fact, I was pretty down on the chat. I didn't turn the game on until more or less 12:30. I didn't watch any of the build-up. I just thought that we weren't going to do it because there was nothing to show me that they could. They certainly proved me wrong in that second half, and I'm delighted they did. Danny Röhl, for me, can be a successful Rangers manager. He's done it with what many of us consider to be the worst Rangers squad in this league. And he's turning it around slowly but surely, getting better performances, getting good, solid results. We got beat at Tynecastle, and then to respond to it, we're beating Motherwell, St Mirren, and now Celtic away from home. Nobody really seen that coming, 9 points out of 9 either. I said on this run of 7 games that to still be in it, he would need to somehow get towards the 17, 18 mark. Well, he's on course to be able to get, that kind of total of points. I think he's done brilliant since he came in, Kenny. I think it is now time to back him. We've already spoke about that. But Danny Röhl has done exactly what he's needed to do since he came into this football club, which was make us believe again, which he has. Get us into an unlikely title race, which he has. Get results in big games, which he has. All on the backdrop of managing the criticism of a squad that we repeatedly say is one of the worst we've ever had. It's probably about time that we put a wee bit of faith as a collective group, because there has been questioning of Danny Röhl now behind this guy, and just say, right, go and back him, go and give him what he needs, and let's make a good fist of this.
I've got nothing but the utmost respect and praise for him here. As I say, what I've really liked about today, and certain other games as well, that he's changed it really quickly, Stevie. He's not asked about and waited. You could say today that he could have changed that early. They could have taken Asgard off after 25 minutes, half an hour, and put Diomande on. But not many coaches or managers are going to do that. But what he's done is proven that he's flexible. He's managed a squad of players that when he's walked in had no confidence whatsoever, Stevie, none. Had no belief in what they were trying to do. He had to coach that nonsense that Russell Martin was asking him to do out of them. And that 3 months, 3.5 months, whatever it is that he's been here, Stevie, whatever it is now, what is it, October, November, December? Yeah, 3 months. He's managed to get us sitting in a title race where we were genuinely looking at it and thinking, Christ, we could finish mid-table with this team. We could. And that's what I would say. As I'll reiterate what I said already to Andrew Kavanagh and the 49ers. Back your man, because what a job he's doing for you. What a job he's doing for us. And I am absolutely buzzing about that today, because at halftime I certainly didn't see it coming. But it shows you the head coach that we have, Stevie, that he can turn around and identify what we're not, our failings, what we're doing wrong, but you can also identify in game what you need to do to change that particular game against a team that's right on top of you. And that was the proverbial game of two halves today. It really was, where he's turned around and went, I got that wrong in the first half, so do this in the second half. And he's got that monkey off his back now, Stevie. He has got that key win, that statement win that all Rangers managers need. And you don't get any better a key win or a statement win than going to that Midden and beating them in their own gaff.
That Midden indeed, full time it was. Celtic 1, triumphant Rangers 3. Glasgow is red, white, and blue, ladies and gentlemen, and that now is the target to make it remain that way. We can bask in their glory and laugh at them, which we will, but more importantly, today the lads stood up when they really had to. They pulled out a magnificent second half performance when they had to, individually and collectively as a team. I said last night, play for the badge on the front, not the name in the back, and they did. Wonderful, wonderful feeling. Been following Rangers home and away now for well over 30 years. I was there at Parkhead last time when we won 3-2. It's a magnificent feeling to go in there and turn them over in their own Midden, as Kenny says. To have them all walking out, to have them responding today, just absolutely lovely. We went through that for the last 12, 15 years, and it's about time Rangers kick on and come out of the shadows, which we've been in for far too long. This football club is too long and too big in the shadows to stay there. This is our time now. It's up to the club to go and grab it. Today was brilliant. Enjoy every single moment of it. Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy Monday morning at your works, everybody. Come Tuesday night, it's game time again. We go and we play Aberdeen, and you just put this one to bed and go and win that game also. Kenny, what a pleasure. We've been here since day one of Four Lads Have the Dream podcast. We've done many miserable post matches when we've been gubbed 6-0 by Bruges, and we have to somehow come on here and not swear. But I'll tell you one thing, my very, very good friend, that was simply magnificent. Celtic 1, Rangers 3. Won't get tired of saying it. That was brilliant, and thoroughly enjoyed discussing it all with you. Just brilliant. I love my club, as you know how we both feel. You've followed it as long as I have, so enjoy these moments. Absolutely.
Glasgow's blue, mate, and it's lovely. But I was thinking about that Bruges after match that we did, and it's easily the worst and hardest podcast we've ever had to do. And this is up there with the very, very best. It is absolutely tremendous, particularly because, as I say, when you look at halftime, I don't think either of us thought this was coming, did we? And we thought that we were going to have to just go through the same old motions of discussing a game where we've let ourselves down a little bit. But no, to a man in that second half, that Rangers team was tremendous, and I am really proud of them. I'm proud of Danny Röhl. I'm proud of every single player, and I am going to enjoy my evening, and I'm going to get back on it, mate. I didn't have any last night, so I'm going to get a couple of beers tonight and enjoy it, because I think the Rangers fans deserve it. I think it is that simple. We deserve to enjoy this, and listen, the boot's on the other foot for a change, mate, and we have to enjoy it. We have to gloat in it a little bit and let them suffer, because we've had years of it. And yeah, it's right up there with the best I've ever done today, mate. I've absolutely loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, that one's been a long time coming, and let's hope there's many more of them. All we want is a successful Rangers team. Nobody enjoys coming on and being critical and having to slate, but we said since word go that on Four Lads a Dream we would be honest with Rangers and we would call it how we see it. Sometimes it's a bit critical, sometimes it's overly optimistic and overly positive, but what we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is enjoy this moment, that's for sure. Thank you everybody that has tuned in. Thousands of comments, thousands of people watching, over 7,000 people watching on all platforms. Blue Noses loving this moment, and we should be. Huge thank you to our sponsors, our friends Jim and Co at Rhino Express, Clydeview Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, Carlo and all the team over there, Amrit and his team at Candid. Amrit posted a picture of himself. I think my bottle of Buckfast at 11 o'clock. I have no idea what the chat, there's 50, 60 odd messages on our chat and he's highly in them. I mean, he'll be like Santa Claus on Prozac right now, so God knows the state he'll be in. Huge thank you to Amrit and Candid, as well as John and all the local dark shop online, our Sunday sponsors. Today was wonderful. Rangers Football Club, as I said, have been in the shadows for far too long. It's about time we got out of there, and today's a wonderful, wonderful moment. Well done to Danny Röhl, the players. Go and have a good, well-earned Saturday evening. Enjoy it. Everybody who watched and have taken part in today's show, thank you so much. If we've rabbited on and if we went over things 2 or 3 at a time, then I really apologise. But Rangers have just beat them in their own Midden. And I don't say this very often, but ladies and gentlemen, we are and always will be the people. Have a good evening. Take care for now.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.